Hey, what's up? My name is John Bonjour. I am a comic artist and film enthusiast. You know for a stone cold fact I haven't drawn any art for this, but I would like to enthuse about Agatha All Along episode, I'm gonna say 6, maybe 7? Yeah, it's just now hitting me that it 100% had to be 7. I'm just gonna cut to the chase here. This was easily my favorite episode that we've gotten so far. Like, bar none. It's not even close. This was the best episode of the show. This is probably the best episode of a Marvel television product. I'm gonna say maybe ever. This was such a well-written, well-directed, interesting episode of television. It's absolutely solidified my opinion. I love this show. Agatha All Along is one of my favorite Marvel shows already. Now, it could still tank. I've been saying that since the beginning. We'll see next week. Maybe the end of the show is terrible. I don't think it will be. This seems like it's going somewhere specific, but you never know. Things I really liked about the episode. Doing it out of order, having it be a non-linear story is super interesting and really well crafted. I loved the way that they did that. Also, it explains a lot about what we've been seeing with this character, Patty Lupone's character. Just assume that's how it's pronounced. Lupone? Character has been the one that we least delved into, and she's kind of the quirkiest, weirdest of the group. This episode explained why that was. A lot of us, including myself, had been theorizing that maybe she was kind of displaced in time. I did not expect that it was just gonna be that. It was just gonna straight up be that. She was displaced in time. Having the episode start with her in the middle of the story and end with her as a child kind of starting over again, I think was just straight brilliant. It was such an interesting full circle thing. Also, just our character's death was really sad, but really, really cool. Having the room flip upside down using the tarot cards in that way was such a creative use, and a thing that they've been doing since the beginning of the show, taking witch stuff and making it different and interesting and more engaging to watch. I think this is a perfect example of that. The tarot in this show, I have no idea if that's how tarot is actually done. I legitimately know so little about tarot cards, but I think it's possible, and if it's not, then they did a really good job convincing me that that seems like the way that it's done. But I think using things like that in a way that doesn't feel cheap, in a way that is different from what you're expecting, having it be in this Indiana Jones trap-style room of swords, super fun, very weird. Also, it was just cool to see this episode from her perspective, the way that she sees the world. Learning things out of order in the timeline, but obviously for her in a specific order. Her existence seems linear, it's just jumbled up and out of time. I think that's super interesting. I liked the way that characters would interact around that, like her relationship with Teen, where she's like, when she meets Teen the first time in this episode, she's really pissed, but that's later on in their timeline, and then later on when she understands that she's okay and everything's all good, that's before that, so they're fine. It's really fun to see all of the characters interact in the way that we would if we were watching it from their perspectives, but since we know where she's coming from, it's fun to see that perspective. Also, Rio is Death. Aubrey Plaza plays Death, who's, they mentioned once she's the original Green Witch, I think was what they said. I don't know what that means. I think it's really interesting that she's Death. We all kind of thought that that might be true, or at least a lot of us did. Also, I have found out that there was like a leaked Funko Pop that told us she was Death and also told us that Billy was Wiccan. One of those was more surprising than the other. It's crazy that a small vinyl bobblehead can spoil a show for us at this point. I've had my fair share of pops, okay, but they should be treated like every other piece of merchandise. We don't need to be spoiling that. Just have her be called Rio, or don't release the thing until the show's done. I do think it's kind of funny and a little bit sad that that spoiled some people for the show, outside of just them being super obvious and kind of telegraphing exactly who she is through the whole, season so far. Again, another thing, the same as Billy, I kind of expected that to be the final reveal of the show. Now I'm wondering if there is going to be a final reveal of the show. It might just be, and then things play out the way that you're kind of, well, maybe not expecting them, but the rest of the show could just be things playing out now that all the chips are out, all the cards are revealed. Something tells me that's probably not true, and we'll get into like what I think that could be in Theory Corner, but before that, there's nothing that really didn't work for me this episode. As always, the sets and the costumes are super fun. Only one thing, and this could be revealing my lack of tarot knowledge, but the thing that I think that this episode really could have used when she revealed Billy's card and it was the Magician, it would have been really cool to have that be Wiccan. Again, that might come down to just what tarot cards are, and maybe there's a very specific set of them. I genuinely don't know. But that does seem like a cool, touching way for him to get his name, and I kind of wonder what we're going to do from here on out. Who knows? I don't know. The point being, I loved this episode. Patty Lupone absolutely killed it. I do kind of hope that we don't go with what I was theorizing, that they were all gonna get resurrected and come back at the end of the show, because that would kind of take away from how impressive and touching I think that this episode was. We'll see, though. I mean, who knows? There's a way that they could do it. I wasn't expecting to care this much about this character, so yeah, maybe they'll be able to bring her back in a way that doesn't feel forced or odd or take away from it. Before we hop on over to John's Theory Corner, I would like to take a second to, get a word from our sponsors. You, hopefully, if you are already a member of my Patreon, please know that your support means the world to me. And if you're not, your future support would really mean the world to me. If these videos are interesting to you, if you're getting something out of them, if you've read my comic, Edge of Bordertown, on my website, johnbonart.com, for free, and that affected your life, if you're enjoying the content that I'm creating, I could really use the support. I'm trying to make this a thing, a real deal thing. Yeah, if you have a couple extra bucks every month, I could really use your support. Obviously, if not, keep watching the videos. That means a lot to me too. I'm really bad at asking people for money. Anyway, on to John's Theory Corner. Hey, welcome to John's Theory Corner. You know, the segment of the show that I talk about all my theories in a corner. I am actually literally in a corner, so that's fun. Going theories for the show, I think we're seeing Mephisto. I feel so strongly that Mephisto is going to be a part of this. I'm going to say that next episode, at the end of the episode, we're going to see, or, start to see Mephisto, and then the episode will end. We'll jump into the second episode, and that'll be the final, all the cards are on the table, we're ending the show. Other thoughts? Do I think it'll lean into a season 2? No, I don't. I will say I would be kind of surprised if they didn't consider it, given the positive praise that it's getting and the well-deserved praise that it's getting. So who knows? Maybe we will get a season 2. I don't think this is going to be like a Moon Knight, though, where it directly leads into what I hope they will be eventually doing. Where's Moon Knight, gang? Give us more of that, please. It's ridiculous. I don't think there's any huge character reveals outside of Mephisto. Don't have any other theories about what characters might show up. There's a lot of people saying that Wanda might show up. I don't think so. If she does return, I think we need at least one witch-related project where she is dead. I think that there needs to be a little bit of a buffer before it's just like, oh, then what was Multiverse of Madness for? Like, what are we doing here? That's really all the theories I have. I don't have a ton of thoughts on where this is going. I still would love it if, Werewolf by Night showed up. I think that would be pretty spectacular. Probably he won't, though, my guess. This episode was fantastic. I cannot wait for the rest of the show. We have 2 more episodes, and I'm pretty sure they come out next week back to back. I am so excited for that. I love this show so far. Next week, I will have art and a full season review for you, so we're doing it up. Happy Halloween in the meantime. Thank you so much for watching this video and checking out my channel. If you'd like to hear more of my thoughts on movies, comics, TV shows, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and comment down below what you'd like me to review next, or do none of that because I am not your dad. I have solidified my opinion that I love this show. I think it's fantastic.